Hey guys, and welcome back. So if you didn't know, today is Mental Health Awareness Day, and this is something I hold very deeply to my own heart because it has affected myself, it affects the people that I love and care for dearly, and it affects you guys too, because as we know, mental health isn't just like this straight line, nor is our physical health either. As you know, like you get ill from time to time, but that doesn't mean that you're an ill person. Just like that person who wakes up every day like super early, has like a kale green smoothie thing and goes to hot yoga and all their food's from Whole Foods. Like when they get a cold, we don't look at them and go, oh, your health's really bad because you're ill. Because we know that's not the case. We know that they're looking after themselves, and this is the same with us. We look after our mental health to the best of our own ability, but sometimes it just does a bit of a dip, and that's totally okay. And I am a firm believer in that by talking about things, it normalizes the conversation so that we don't feel so much shame when we talk about these issues. Like for me, I would have posted more videos about my mental health this year, but the fact is, anytime I bring up my mental health, I am obviously met with those comments of, you have such a great life. What are you talking about? You know, you're just ungrateful. You're so selfish. And, oh, another white girl with problems, man. Like all of this, okay? And I don't think people realize that that is the same stick that I'm beating myself up with when I have a period of like depression or anxiety or any other mental health things that I may have. I am beating myself up with that stick. I am saying, you have a great life. You have no problems. Why are you freaking out? You don't even have real responsibilities. And it's what I do to me. So when I see those comments as well, it kind of validates that stick beating for whenever I need to whip it out when I'm having a bad time. But today is the day that I'm just going to openly talk about things that do affect me, affect you guys, because I could care less about the mean comments left under my videos, to BH. So I think what's super funny though, when people bash me for being like over honest, is that, or like over emotional or whatever, it's funny to me because that's literally my job. The fact that I was born without like this layer of skin that most people have that protects them from feeling things a little too much, I don't have that. And instead of like letting these feelings eat me up, I like to write about them or make things with them. I just like to be creative with my sadness, and be that a video, be that a song, be it a poem, it doesn't matter to me as long as I've tried to make that bad time into something creative, which is something I recommend for everybody. Find your outlet, because for me, not saying it lightly, but music has literally saved my life on numerous occasions. It's given me my outlet. It's been my saving grace. It's always been my thing to turn to when things have gotten really, really dark. And obviously when you're depressed, you think you can't just always write a song, and I understand this because I always get really frustrated when people say that. They're like, oh, you're sad, just write a song about it. And you're like, but currently I'm in the midst of the depressive episode, which makes expressing myself very hard because I'm currently in a numb state. Like, numb is obviously when your body turns into the Batmobile and you feel nothing, because your body's like, we can't feel these feelings. They're dangerous for you. So I obviously can't write when things get that bad, but like the everyday-ish depression, it's not every day, but like when it comes, I'm usually able to manifest it into something creative. And that for me is very helpful. So I recommend finding your thing, whatever that is. So for me, I'm very lucky that my depression usually follows a pattern in the fact that my depression, anxiety, and other issues are very, very manageable throughout the year, except for winter, which brings me to seasonal affective disorder, which is what I have. So basically, during the winter time until about April, I have to take extra measures and extra precautions to make sure that I, looking after myself, because for me, it's very easy to like just disappear in the wintertime. I wish, like, I feel like it's like I should have been born a creature that hibernates, you know what I mean? But I'm not, so I have to get through the winter, like a lot of people who suffer with it, because there are heck tons of people who have this. So little things like buying a sad lamp, very, very helpful. They vary in price. You can get quite cheaper ones, or you can go all out and get a really expensive one. I got a like 60 quid one from Amazon. I saved up and I got it because I was like, I'm going to need this year. And it has been a little saving grace already. So I 10 out of 10 recommend that. Obviously, diet, very, very important. I'm currently on a prescribed diet anyway from my doctor. Just to sort out all my health issues, which, you know, are ongoing, whatever. But it's a very, very clean diet. It's like no sugars or it's very complicated, but basically it's very clean. And I feel like that's helping me, because usually around this time of year I would be even more down than I am at the moment. So I definitely feel like, because I'm looking at my gut health in particular with a nutritionist, like all the foods that I'm eating are good for gut health. And if you look up research, there's a lot of research into how your gut health can impact your mental health. So I 10 out of 10 recommend looking up those things. And I'm also just making sure that I'm getting as much sunlight as I possibly can, like treating myself like a dog and taking myself for walks. So you might see a few walk and talks here on the channel, just because I find that kind of keeps me on a level. There's lots of things you can do. I recommend looking things up to see how you can prevent yourself from getting even more down if you are down. There's quite a few, but obviously we got to understand that it's not as simple for everybody. I don't take medication for it anymore, because it wasn't working for me. It wasn't. It was. I won't go into it because I'm afraid other people might use it as an excuse not to take it. But it didn't sit with me that well, physically. So I stopped taking it, and I instead of taking the medication, I've started to make sure that I'm changing my environment and my habits and all of those things. And it is, for me, kind of being more effective than the medication was. But again, I would recommend talking to a trained, like, doctor. Like, go to your doctor, tell them about it if you're feeling sad, because sometimes it can be changed by your environment, and sometimes you might need a little bit of help. Who knows? I don't. Talk to a specialist. For me, one of the scariest things about depression actually is how invisible it is. Not just for me, but for people I know. So like a lot of people I've known in the past as well, people in my present day life, have confided in me that either at a period of time that they were severely depressed, like contemplating suicide, depressed, and you would never have known. They were just the smiley one, the bubbly one, the funny one. Like, make sure that person who like makes sure everybody else is okay. And I think that feeling of like being that person who wants to make everybody laugh and being that person who wants to make sure everybody's having a good time comes from the fact that you know how much it sucks to hurt so much on the inside that it pains you to think about somebody else feeling that as well. So you go out of your way to make other people happy. And that for me is terrifying. The amount of times that I've been close with friends and not known about what was actually going on in their life, man. It's terrifying. So I know this video has been centered mostly around depression, and I do apologize about that, but that is because it is something that has affected my life for as long as I can remember. I have other issues. I've a lot of issues, but I just maybe not so ready to talk about some of them just yet. But also I just feel like depression as well has been like a consequence of a lot of these things. So other issues that I've had in my life always seems to end in depression as well. So yeah, it's just something that I feel most comfortable talking about because I have a lot of years of experience in dealing with it, but only my personal experience, because again, not a specialist. Alright, this video, like I said at the start, was just me talking about my mental health in the hope that we can just remove the little bit of stigma around it and hopefully get the conversation going, get the ball rolling about how normal it is to have mental health, because we all have mental health. It's so bizarre that this is still a thing. Anyway, I hope you're having a happy, happy day and that the world is treating you the way you deserve. Okay. Bye.